But, I'm on Bovada Sportsbook. We're going into week 17 of the NFL season. So if you're cool with it, Sam, even though I did not pre-record this, so this is live, I'd like to just run through my top 10 teams in the NFL, the power rankings. You good with that, buddy?
Do it, dude.
All right. So, as I always do, I start with some respect to numbers 11 and 12 on my list, the Tennessee Titans and Pittsburgh Steelers. Tennessee, even with a loss last week to New Orleans, has taken over the sixth seed in the playoffs. If they win, they're in. Even if they lose, they can get in. But there are a lot of teams that are still in the playoff hunt. Sam, even Oakland is in the playoff hunt still, which I didn't realize, but I thought they were eliminated a couple weeks ago. But they are still in it. Indianapolis is still in it. Pittsburgh is still in it. But if all those teams lose, and even if Tennessee loses, they're in. So there you go. Number 10 on my list, though, starting with the power rankings, is at plus 3,000 according to Bovada. The Minnesota Vikings at 10-5 lost to the Green Bay Packers. That was the time for Kirk Cousins to step forward and take control of this division. Now, obviously, Dalvin Cook being out really hurt the Minnesota Vikings, but that was the game that Kirk Cousins really had to string together. Couldn't get it done. So they drop, I think they were like number 6 last week or something like that. They dropped to 10. But, they're in the playoffs, so good for them. Number 9 on my list at plus 5,000, according to Bovada, is the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Bills lost to the New England Patriots. We've seen them lose close games now to the New England Patriots and the Baltimore Ravens. The fact of the matter is the Buffalo Bills had chances in both of those games to push the games into overtime or potentially even win the games. And Josh Allen, within the 20 or the 30-yard line, within striking distance at the end of the games, both games couldn't get it done. And that's what you get with a young quarterback. I said this coming into the season. Now, I thought Buffalo has by far exceeded my expectations, so I don't want to take anything away from what they've been doing, what they are doing. But Josh Allen is not ready to win a Super Bowl. Those are games that Josh Allen will win maybe 5 years down the line when he's a little bit more mature as a passer and as a quarterback. He's still just a little bit too raw. So if this defense can't hold teams under 20, sometimes it can get tough when you're playing a really strong team. Now, Buffalo wins the games they should win, and they lose the games that they should lose. So what do you get? You get basically a 5 seed in the playoffs, which is a good thing. That's better than basically 2/3 of the league there. Number 8 on my list. I dropped them after a loss, a weird loss, but not one that I didn't think, I wasn't shocked by it, but I think a lot of people were. The Seattle Seahawks, who lost to the Arizona Cardinals, they're at plus 1,400 according to Bovada. Now, the thing with them is they lost Chris Carson, they lost C.J. Prosise, they lost Rashad Penny, so they're down to basically their fourth string running back at this point, and then they signed Marshawn Lynch, to get in there. I don't think running back hurts most teams, but I do think it hurts Seattle here. Yes, they still have Russell Wilson, but their margin of victory is razor thin anyway. I don't love the running back being hurt since they're such a big part of that game, but Marshawn Lynch could probably step in and play well, so they're just dropped, but again, they're in the playoffs, so who cares? Number 7 on my list, the Houston Texans at 10-5. They jumped up a few spots. They're at plus 3,500. Deshaun Watson, now he didn't play well. He got a lot of people, bummed out in the fantasy football championship. He's playing a really good matchup for him. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers didn't really go for a lot of stats, but the Houston Texans won the game without Deshaun Watson basically carrying them, which is a good thing for the Houston Texans and Houston Texans fans. They won the division. They're in the playoffs. They might rest starters this week. We'll see what happens there, but either way, they're in. Number 6 on my list, after the victory against the Minnesota Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, who according to Bovada are at plus 1,000. Green Bay, they're still a flawed team. They still need another receiver, but they're winning games against really good competition. Aside from being trounced by San Francisco, and they kind of sleptwalked through that LA Chargers game. This team just is consistently in every single game, and they're 12-3, so you can't really knock them too much. Number 5 on my list is the New England Patriots. Bovada has them at plus 550. New England's getting stronger now. I still want to see the offense do something, but this is the most dangerous, I think, defense in the league, defense and special teams. They are a team that can win a game 6-0 if they have to in the playoffs. It's very dangerous. Now, I think the teams above them have more offense, so I think the New England Patriots are going to have a tougher time in the playoffs, but this is Bill Belichick we're talking about here. And he has played every single team in the playoffs chase at this point, except for Tennessee. So, I don't think they'd have much trouble dispatching Tennessee either, even though Ryan Tannehill's balling out there. So, yeah, New England Patriots plus 550. I think that's pretty good value if you're better, and I am. Number 4 on my list, the Kansas City Chiefs. Their defense is playing stronger and stronger. Bovada has them at plus 650 to win the Super Bowl. I still think that's really nice value. I actually think this team is starting to peak. I don't think that we've seen the best of this team yet. Their Achilles heel at this point is the running game, but with a passing game this strong, I'm not as concerned about it. I just want, basically, if they can put a running game together in the playoffs, this is probably my favorite team in the league. Well, I shouldn't say that. I actually like the 3 teams ahead of them. But I like them more than the Patriots. Honestly, I do, even in the playoffs, if they can get that running game going. Number 3 on my list, the San Francisco 49ers at 12-3 at plus 550. Now, the only reason I didn't have them at number 2, and I think I did last week, but the only reason I don't have them at number 2 right now is because the defense had Richard Sherman back, and the LA Rams scored 30 points. They've given up a lot of points now to the New Orleans Saints, to the Rams. They gave up points like a couple weeks ago to the Falcons. I don't love this defense is kind of sputtering now. Now, I think they'll get it together, so I'm not freaking out. Obviously, they're number 3 on my list. But this defense is playing poorly enough when they were so dominant early enough in the year that I thought that, they probably should be downgraded, even though the number 2 team on my list, they just beat a couple weeks ago. The New Orleans Saints, who Bovada has at plus 575. The New Orleans Saints seem to be playing better football. They took basically Tennessee's best shot, although Tennessee didn't have Derrick Henry last week. But look, I think New Orleans, San Francisco, Kansas City, New England, I think any of those teams are very, very dangerous. Green Bay, I feel, is flawed. I think Houston, if Will Fuller can play, I think is a very strong team. Russell Wilson, the number 8 team on my list. Russell Wilson has already won a Super Bowl. Seattle's going to be dangerous. There's a lot of danger in the playoffs. It's going to be a very, very fun playoff series to watch. New Orleans, I want to see a better receiver there. We'll see what happens with that, but they're certainly doing well without them. So they're at plus 575, and they're not even at this point a top 2 seed in the playoffs. So they'd have to play in wild card weekend, which is crazy. A 12-3 team's crazy. Number 1 on my list, the Baltimore Ravens. They've been there for quite some time. Bovada has them at plus 225 to win the Super Bowl. Now they play Pittsburgh this weekend. Mark Ingram will be out, and Lamar Jackson will be out. And so they're actually underdogs. I think they're 2-point underdogs. But here's the interesting thing, and Sam and I will talk about this in a little bit. RG3 is getting a start. It tests my theory. Can RG3 run this offense? Maybe not as well as Lamar Jackson, but can he be a kind of a plug and play for you if you're a daily fantasy player, if you're still in your fantasy football championship game. I think RG3 is going to have himself a game. I really do. So we'll see there. And that takes me through my power rankings. If you're watching on YouTube, please comment. Let me know what you think. I know I ranked some teams poorly that you probably think should be higher, especially San Francisco. So go ahead and San Francisco, give me your heat. I know that it's coming, and I'm not even arguing really against you. I know New England, reigning Super Bowl champions at number 5 with 3 losses, the number 2 seed in the AFC at the moment. You're going to give me some heat. I get it. So just give me some heat. Let me know what your rankings are, and when you do it, don't just say, hey, you're an idiot, because I don't care about that. I ignore that anyway. I don't care if you think I'm an idiot, but I'd like to know if you disagree. Tell me why you disagree. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts and your reasoning and all that. And let's have a productive conversation, because the insults don't bother me one bit. Anyway, that's it for the power rankings. And Sam, man, Baltimore once again, number 1 on
Baltimore,
the list.
I'm interested to see what RG3.
I think he's going to play well, dude.
I think
really
he's going to
do.
play well too.
So, everybody's like Mark Ingram. That's one of my favorite bets of the week, honestly, because I watch, Sam, me being a Reds, and I was a huge Redskins fan, but RG3 was the last jersey that I bought. And I broke my rule, because I always had a rule, don't buy present day jerseys, because of the free agency and the business and all that. A player that's super successful for you for 5 years is going to go somewhere else. Like Champ Bailey for the Redskins is a perfect thing. Like, he was an awesome player, and then they traded him, and now he's a Hall of Famer for the Denver Broncos, right? So, why do you have a Champ Bailey Redskins jersey? It doesn't make any sense. So I broke the rule, though, for RG3. I got the RG3 jersey, bro, and it's sitting collecting dust. And that's exactly why I don't do it, because I had a Darryl Green jersey, and I always get the old school jerseys made. So I should have just gotten an Art Monk jersey, my favorite NFL player of all time, along with Darryl Green. But anyway, I broke my rule. But what I will say, and the whole point of that is, I've seen RG3 when he's healthy. He's a baller, man. Like he's not a starter because he's gonna get injured. He's gonna give you 2.5 quarters of great football, and then he's gonna like hurt his throwing shoulder. That's what's gonna happen in this game. But he's gonna give you like 30 points in 2.5 quarters, especially in this offense, which fits perfectly for him. So
yeah, I think he's going to play well, and